What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's What's on Kickstarter. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the great, good, and not so good playing cards recently released on the Kickstarter market, as well as some really fun other campaigns that you can find on the platform. Steve, I gotta say, man, this was actually an interesting week because we had a pretty healthy spread across great, good, and not so good.
I'm excited, man. We had, what, like 15-ish decks?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think it was like maybe 12, 13. At first, I must have opened them in the wrong order because I just kept getting the needs help decks. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be a bad week. I hope we can have some in the good and great category. And then I was like, all right, I know some of the ones that are out there, so I know they're going to be great. And thankfully, we had a pretty even spread.
Yeah, dude, this month actually is heavy with campaigns.
Yeah.
So
I feel like everyone out there, everyone out there is probably like, give me more needs help so I can save some money.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man,
saves me money usually.
Dude, absolutely. It's gonna be a good week though. I think there's gonna be some fun campaigns for everyone to back, and as always, we always love to hear what everyone's gonna be backing. So once you're watching and you figure out what you're excited about this week, make sure to leave a comment down below. Ready to jump into it, buddy? Let's do it. And this week's episode of What's on Kickstarter is presented by Curio Playing Cards. Let's take a quick word from our sponsor. Let's see just how wild the animal kingdom can get. Follow Curio Playing Cards on Instagram for more details. Dude, this is gonna be interesting. You ready to see what's up first this week?
Show me what we have for our great campaign.
All right. First up for this week's first great campaign, we have The Secret Tale of King Arthur Luxurious Playing Cards from Diamond Playing Cards, aka Dutch Card House. Dude, no surprise here. Dutch Card House drops great campaigns on a regular basis, coming in with actually a really fun tale as old as time here, King Arthur. For anyone who's, you know, grown up on Disney movies, either King Arthur's in the mix there or grown up on stories. I think everybody knows who King Arthur is at this point, hopefully. So
Excalibur, dude.
I was excited to see this one. I love the sword in the background of this image here. I'm assuming this is maybe a render. I don't know, but very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a render, but I mean, it's cool either way. It's the sword in the stone.
Yeah, looks really dope there. Coming into it with a great story out the gate, talking about Merlin's confession, really building up the storyline behind this. The one thing I really like about this is Dutch Card House actually brought someone on to build a narrative around the campaign. So that's always a plus. If you're really struggling to build out your story yourself, you may not be, you know, a wordsmith and you really need someone to come in and help you out there. Looking for someone who can build out that story for you is more than acceptable in a campaign because you want to make sure that you draw people into the story.
Yeah, I love that artwork. It's fun.
They did a great job with it, and I like the fact that the story is interdispersed with the images as well, so you have a reason to pause and admire the artwork and then continue scrolling.
Yeah, it's a fun job.
Yeah. We get into the features here, and we have printed by Cordamundi on their B9 Slimline stock. Absolutely great stock there. One of my favorites out there right now. Them and probably Legends Viper Finish are taking it for me right now, so glad to see that they've got a nice little feature section breaking down all of the individual aspects of each deck. The one thing I would say for this, you could probably consolidate the Black Knight edition and the White Knight edition, as the text itself is exactly the same, and maybe even do, you know, Black and White Knight editions and mention all of the features there and combine the image into one of each, something along those lines. Add a little bit more conciseness to it, but otherwise that's really a nitpicky point there. Dope accessories for the coins there. Merlin's Confession, which is a tale going along with it, which is really cool. This is actually the second campaign we've seen that's tied a book with a deck of cards. First, obviously, being Eye of the Ocean from Stockholm 17. So really cool to see kind of other creative outlets making their way into that playing card space there. And then you have this Camelot Collection box, which is a really cool looking box, which looks to feature the coin and the 3 decks there, which absolutely love it.
Yeah, Diamond always does really cool collector's boxes.
Yeah. And I always just remember the one for their Magical Paisley set or for their poker series that they did recently.
Yeah, no, they're fun.
Getting into it, we see some great images of the back design here. Really interesting style to the back design. It almost reminds me of like a Suba from like a samurai sword. That styling to it.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Very cool.
see that.
Yeah, very cool kind of sword guard-esque feel to it. Love the look of it all. And again, there's enough images here that you really get a feel for what the deck is. Really nice job showing off the numbers without having to present every single number card, making it feel a little bit organic, like the cards are just thrown down on the table. Very cool.
I agree.
The one thing I still, and I may have missed it, but I haven't seen yet, is who's going to be fulfilling, which I want to check out. And then diving into the 3 decks here, I have to say, you know, there's obviously a lot of images here. I think they're doing a really good job showing everything off. But there's almost not enough text between that, and it will probably make the campaign even longer. Probably some of the images could have been pulled, but I do love the style of them all.
Yeah, they're fun. That book looks really cool.
Yeah, getting it.
I don't know if it was, but was under the features, did it have little icons for fulfillment?
It may have, and I think I saw them, and I know they were tiny. I think there's a fulfillment section further down as well, so
Yeah, okay.
we'll hunt that down in a second. We have the Kickstarter exclusive Camelot box explaining everything that's entailed there, which I think is great. Obviously, you got the stretch goals here showing off 25,000 euros for gilded decks, you know, secret cabinet, 38,000. This is actually,
cool.
yeah, this is really cool. This is whole next level wooden cabinet with UV foil print. That is dope. So, okay, cool. And now they talk about a little bit that this is actually a keyhole. Makes a lot of sense. That was my other feel for it, is it was a key, but it also still feels like kind of a Japanese, like, samurai guard to me as well, which is cool. And then,
Yeah,
here we go. Here's the
sure.
fulfillment section. So we have Gamblers for US and Dealies Pro for European fulfillment. So great there, really touching on all the aspects of it. And then I love the little About Us section at the bottom of it, because it's always important to, no matter how many campaigns you've done, to mention who you are. You know, a lot of times you may be a multiple time creator and someone's coming to your campaign for the first time and they love your work, but they don't know who you are. You want to build that personal connection for future campaigns as well.
Yeah. What's the price coming in at?
We are looking at, for the Blue Casino Standard, 22 shipped, and the White Knight deck, which is the foil version, 30, and the Black Knight is 30 as well. So usually I would say that 22 shipped is probably $1 over where I'd like to see it on standard, but we do know that recently there were a lot of shipping cost increases around the holiday time. So launching at this point, you're probably looking at an extra bit to roll up there. And so even if you have a 70-cent increase in your shipping, because Kickstarter only allows whole amounts for shipping costs, you have to go from 6 to 7. So
Yeah,
you know,
and I'll be honest, it's good to see a deck that's priced that low from Diamond, because sometimes they do go a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that standard pricing.
especially on a collector's oriented deck, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Absolutely love the
Great
style
job.
of this deck. So really excited to see this do well.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. And for this week's first good campaign, we have the Bicycle 4 Seasons playing cards by Ace Collectible Cards. So I gotta say, coming into it off the bat, you already know who's going to be printing it. Bicycle branded, you're looking at USPCC, but they do touch on that in the campaign. This honestly had a lot of potential to be a great campaign, and the one thing that really stands out to me that makes this good instead of great is decent amount of images. There probably could be more. It's a little bit thrown together without much of a story or text to it, so it really just is conducive to scrolling. And I think one of the things that this stands out to me for is that Ace Collectibles has been doing campaigns for a long time, and this is probably a template that, again, maybe worked 5, 6, 7 years ago, but really making sure that your templates are up to date for what people are looking for now is really important. There's no mention of fulfillment on this one, while there is a mention of USPC as the printer. I would also recommend using, again, the logos for images so you have those visual indicators of who's going to be printing there. Touching on the story a little bit more would really be great for this. I mean, you have some beautiful artwork, you have some great background to it, the seasons. You could make up anything related to the seasons, going old world and talking about, you know, how spring and summer are gods and this and that, and the changes of the seasons and eternal struggles and all this fun stuff. This is literally coming off the top of my head. You could have such a fun story with this that would really build out the narrative behind the campaign and make it a great and exciting campaign with it, because the artwork really is beautiful.
Yeah, and I love that tuck box.
Yeah.
Pretty tuck
Good.
box.
I mean, honestly, it's a fun tuck box for a Bicycle branded deck, and the reason for that is Ace Collectibles, I believe in the past did, and we can double check this here, did something like the Cthulhu, maybe? Let's see, yeah, they did the Cthulhu Cardnomicon deck. So it has that traditional style that they stick with for their Bicycle branded decks, and I think they do a great job with it. but ultimately the campaign just needs a refresh because this would be so much more eye-catching with just a little bit more effort thrown into it, and ultimately could reach a much larger audience because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, people obviously love bicycle decks. So.
Price point wise, we are looking at $23 shipped. So again, I think on this one, because we're seeing an increase in shipping, that's all well and good. But ultimately, you'd probably still want to try and fit into that $21, $22 price point at the max end. I'm even hesitant to say 22.
I'd say about 20.
Well, and that's the tough part about it is ultimately you got to figure now with shipping to the US probably being around, maybe $7+ depending on who's fulfilling this, it could be more. And that's the one thing where a fulfillment partner and mentioning who your fulfillment is crucial, because if you're fulfilling from Gamblers and you're telling me that shipping is $10, I know that's way overpriced. But if you're shipping yourself from the UK to the US and you're telling me it's $7, that's probably underpriced, and that's great. So it really depends, I think, at this point. 23 as a total could be a little high, but again, if you're telling me that, hey, it's $14 for the deck, I think they're actually saying it's 17. So if you brought it to 15 and you made it 21, that makes a lot of sense, but knowing where you're shipping from is really crucial.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. And before we jump into this week's Needs Help campaign, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And ring the bell.
So, coming in for this week's first Needs Help campaign, we have the Art Time playing cards. So, I have to say, this is actually a creator who has come out with 5 campaigns over the past 4 years, 4 of which have been within the past 11 months. None of them have been successful, and they're all for different decks. The really interesting thing about it is when I first look at this deck, I'm like, man, this is really artistic. There's a lot of potential to it. It's really an interesting campaign. There's some things that definitely would be beneficial to have here. Look at their, casino quality printed by Cardamundi. One thing that really stands out to me as it needs help here is the quality, a B9 True Linen finish if we reach 15,000 euros. The thing is, that indicates that Cardamundi is not, in fact, your initial printer. You have someone else in mind unless you hit a stretch goal, because Cardamundi only has 1 stock right now, so you're either printing with them or you're not. That, to me, stands out actually as a little bit of a red flag, but not so far as to say beware of the campaign. The one thing that really stands out to me, though, about this is that, again, you're a creator who has put out 5 decks that have all been unsuccessful, and you haven't actually taken the time to try and build a deck out to success. To me, that's the biggest sign of trustworthiness with a creator, is I love this deck, I want to see it be created, let me revisit that, relaunch a campaign, figure out why it didn't work out. Instead, jumping from campaign to campaign to campaign with all different artwork and decks isn't giving people a feeling of security within the creative space there. You really have to make sure that you are showing people that you're behind this project, and being flighty from one deck to another doesn't instill that, confidence.
Yeah, and this deck's great. What's the goal on this one?
This is $5,200. So, a little bit low of a goal if you're really looking to go with Cardamundi. Say you do 1,000 print run, your goal will probably be better off around $8,000. Dude, the artwork on this is dope.
So fun.
It really is fun, and I think people would actually really be drawn to that. You can see there's 24 backers in there. With the campaign actually being put together in a way that was impactful, that could be so much higher. Build out a story here about your campaign and the deck itself. I'm sure if I go through the other 5 campaigns, it's the same exact story throughout all of them, just with some aspects of it changed. Build out an actual story for this deck. Glad to see the features put together there, but the one thing then we get into is, all right, who's going to be fulfilling? What else about this? You show off the style of it. It looks really great, but there's no story running through it. It's just all pictures that I'm going to scroll through. The other thing I'll say too, and again, I think it's kind of important, especially for one of your first campaigns or a first hopefully successful campaign, to stay very focused on what your goal is. And when we get into add-ons, we see you have pillows, prints of the card faces, prints of the back designs. Somewhere down here you have puzzles. Like, all of these things are great, but unless you're an established creator, it's very hard to sell add-ons that don't inherently go with the deck. It might even be that this puzzle is a cooler project than the deck of cards itself. With that in mind, this puzzle right here, not really a huge fan because it's half advertising, half the cards on a table. Maybe the artwork of the deck itself would be conducive to a puzzle. But really, as a first-time creator, you want to make sure that you're focused as much as possible on what your actual goal is. And in this situation, it's printing a deck of cards. So get rid of the add-ons. Get the goal as low as possible to make sure that your deck is going to fund, and add a story, build it out, build some depth to the campaign. Because right now, I love the images. I love the look of the deck, but ultimately, I need more.
Yeah.
And price.
I agree.
Yeah, and price point, we're looking at $17 shipped, which
just super cheap.
Super cheap for a really artistic deck. So if this doesn't fund, the best advice I can give you is don't come out with a new campaign for a new deck. Revisit this one, rebuild it out, and relaunch it, and keep relaunching this one until it funds. That's the best advice I can give there.
Good luck, man.
Good luck. And for another great campaign this week, we have the Pharmacy on Main playing cards from Metal-Arc Playing Cards. This is their third release under the Metal-Arc brand. Absolutely killing it here. Without a doubt, a great campaign. We have a nice little quick overview here. Great price point. Really fun and nice use of a vintage style deck with that vintage tin. Absolutely love this thing.
So cool.
Yeah, man. Absolutely crushing it. If you haven't backed Metal-Arc Playing Cards yet, go check out their Pharmacy on Main playing cards. You will not be disappointed.
Good luck.
Good luck. And for another great campaign this week, we have the Nock Luxury Collection Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald Edition. No shock here. Riffle Shuffle playing cards and House of Playing Cards. Riffle Shuffle has the go-to template for playing card campaigns these days. They basically can throw together a campaign and it will do great because they have so much practice with it. It's not luck, it's strategy and practice, and I always love to see it. For any first-time creator who's looking for some great campaigns in the past to help build out what you're looking to do, Riffle Shuffle is always a recommendation. And while you're at it, you can go check out this awesome deck because this thing just looks fun. Yeah. That is a lot of hollow foil there, dude. A lot of hollow foil.
It's not the best render, but I'm sure the deck is going to be dope.
I feel like the deck's going to look exactly like that. It's going to be blinding. You're going to be able to use that thing as a reflector on your bicycle.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming from version 1, and they're just throwing some holographic foil, gilding on it, and it's going to look dope.
Looks really good, and I love the simplicity of the Nock, staying true to the brand while making it a little more luxurious. So nicely done on that, and hitting up that Cardamundi cold foil, so you know this is a great campaign for sure.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. And for another great campaign this week, we have the Composers Playing Cards Franz Schubert 7 of 7. I gotta say, the most exciting part about this is I want to know what 64 playing cards is gonna do next. They are on deck 7 of 7 of the Composers series, which means that next we're gonna be doing authors. We're gonna be doing what? Like, I don't know what's going on here, man. It's an end of an era. It almost feels like. It feels like when some of the campaigns end their like Zodiac decks.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm looking forward to seeing what they got because these decks are pretty cool. They look great. The tuck boxes are beautiful.
They chose great colors for them too, man.
Yeah, they really did.
Great colors, great production quality there. Really well put together campaigns. Another great campaign if you're really looking for a template to kind of help you build out what you should be looking for first. The one thing I think Steve and I always touch on in these campaigns, because they're historically oriented, are long.
So long.
They're really long, and it's because they try and throw in as much information as possible, which I think some people really appreciate. You know, you can make it a little more concise, and that would work just as well, but at the same time, never hurts to go a little bit longer. Better to have more information than not enough.
Exactly.
Good luck. And for another good campaign this week, we have the Ultimate Insect Playing Cards. So I gotta say, man, this is actually a really interesting campaign. Really like the styling of it and the artwork. For anyone who's into bugs, this is a fun one. They really took an interesting kind of comical and custom approach to the cards, which I really loved on this one.
Yeah, dude, I love the tuck box.
They really did a good job with it. It's interesting to see that back design. It's funny because at a glance, it almost looks like carbon fiber. And then you see their little, like, insects, like maybe butterflies on the back there.
Yeah.
Really nicely put together. Well thought out campaign. Really nice story to it. And coming in at a solid price point. The one thing that really stood out to me, what makes this good instead of great, is there's no real mention of who the printer is going to be on this one and who's going to be fulfilling. So always two key aspects to include in there. With that information, this hands down would have been a great campaign.
Good luck.
Good luck. And for another good campaign this week, we have The Urban Legend playing cards relaunch from Hype-Lab. Hype-Lab has done some great decks in the past, and again, as with the previous campaign, the one thing that really kept this from being great was they don't mention who their printer is going to be. They talk about it in the comments that it's a local printer that they've used in the People's Republic of China, but it's great to get that visibility out there and let people know who your printer is, because then you're not only helping your printer hopefully get more business, but you're helping build the brand recognition for that printer, which hopefully in the future will make that printer more of a known entity and make people more comfortable with backing.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely love this idea behind it, and especially a great deck for around the Halloween time of year.
They always have fun stuff.
Yeah, they do a really good job. You know, they've come out with some really fun decks, so I'm glad to see them coming back to the table with this one.
Good luck.
Good luck. And for another good campaign this week, we have the Vista Playing Cards Lumina Edition. So again, really nice campaign here, really well put together, interesting back design to it. I just think a lot of what's missing with this one is they talk about the printer, but there's not a lot of emphasis on it. You can see very small text here. Our cards will be printed by Cardamundi, which means they will have B9 and the Slimline stock too. Make these highlighted points. This is why we always recommend a features section. This is why we always recommend making big headers across the campaign, because it helps draw people's attention to important aspects of the campaign. The other thing to note with this, based on these images, this looks like a 4-color deck. So 4 colors, each suit has an individual color. They're all very similar. It looks like a red and a pink for the traditionally red suits, and then a blue and a purple for the traditionally black. But that is going to impact people. So make sure that either A, the cards are properly colored there, or B, you're letting people know that this is a 4-color suit deck. But yeah, good luck on the campaign. I think there's a lot of potential with this deck. Just needs some interesting tweaks to it for sure.
Good luck.
And for another Needs Help campaign this week, we have the Egyptium Luxury Playing Cards Part 2. First and foremost, I would say skip the Part 2 on it. Come up with a better name for it, you know, Diamond Edition, Excelsior Package, I don't know. Come up with a cool luxury sounding name that makes it sound like it's a Part 2 without saying Part 2. From an SEO point of view, search engine optimization point of view, it just doesn't hit that great. Also with this one, there's a lot of information that just isn't here. You don't mention who's going to be printing. You don't mention who's going to be fulfilling. A lot of the focus on this one actually doesn't feel to be on the cards. If we roll through, we can see they show the tucks, they show these sleeves. It's really cool. They actually never show the back design. I even watched the video and they managed to never show the back design in the video, which is crazy. And you get down to these add-ons, so this cool wooden box, which I actually really like, but the box isn't the focus. It's the deck of cards. So I think it's really important that all aspects of the cards are addressed before you even start worrying about the add-ons, because it feels like more thought went into the add-ons than the deck itself.
Yeah, we don't even know what the back design looks
Exactly,
like.
and that's a tough one in my book. No idea who printed, no idea what the back design looks like. On my end, that would be a pass, just because I want to know what all that's going to look like before I'm willing to commit. So, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
And for another Needs Help campaign this week, we have the Dark Hand playing cards. So one thing that I think actually was really strong with this campaign was the story. They really put together a great story for this campaign. Really fun, really drawing you in. This whole kind of premise of light versus dark. One of the things that really stood out to me here, and this is actually an interesting approach, is it looks like they actually hand-cut prototypes out, which I think is great. It's always important to really give people a feel for what the cards are going to look like. But in addition to that, who's going to be printing the cards? Who's going to be fulfilling the cards? What does the deck look like in a clean way? Like, I'm not exactly sure, other than what this video highlight here shows what the back design looks like. Let me see a full picture of the back design. Let me get all that important information about who's going to be printing, who's going to be fulfilling. This is actually one of the double-edged swords with printing your own prototype. Because my biggest fear now is, are you also printing the final deck? I don't know. And that's not something I want to find out firsthand at, $21 a deck. So if you're looking to make this actually a successful campaign, make sure you let everyone know who's going to be printing, who's going to be fulfilling, touch on some of the features of it, touch on some of the backstory, let them know who you are. So, good luck.
Good luck.
And for another Needs Help campaign this week, we have the Japanese Mythology Playing Cards relaunch. So I actually think when we first did this one, it was probably a good campaign. The reason being, they didn't mention the printer, they didn't mention the fulfillment. My biggest issue why this one is a Needs Help campaign this week is if you relaunch and the only thing you change is you added a video down here, you really didn't take into consideration feedback as to why it didn't fund the first time. And to me, that says a lot about the creator there. The campaign itself is almost exactly the same as the initial edition here. They still don't mention who's printing. They still don't mention who's going to be fulfilling. And those are really crucial aspects of it. So if you're getting feedback of who's going to be printing and you don't address it, but you still relaunch, I'm even less likely to back the campaign now. So something to keep in mind there is if you're really going to go the route of relaunching, make sure that you're actually touching on the aspects that people are curious about.
Yeah, and you don't have to put relaunch in the title.
Correct. But the thing to keep in mind is you can't use the same exact title. So you have to come up with a different variation of your title. People usually default to relaunch because it's easier and it's a little more transparent. With that in mind, you could have named it, you know, Japanese Mythology, a deck of playing cards, and that would have skirted by the same name restriction. So something to keep in mind there. Yeah. Good luck. And hopefully if this one, it looks like it's already funded, but in the future, keep in mind that a relaunch is really an opportunity to be more transparent and address, you know, backer feedback. So good luck. And for all intents and purposes, another needs help campaign this week, we have the Octopus Tarot and playing cards. Obviously, this campaign has done great, and this deck is actually amazing. The primary focus of this campaign, though, obviously falls on the tarot deck, not the playing card deck. So with that in mind, going to take a look at the campaign, we notice that we're already about halfway through before we hit the section about the playing cards here, and the imagery for the playing cards is minimal at best. One of the big things I will say here is while this comes off more as an add-on than anything, I think most playing card enthusiasts are going to be curious to see what the court card looks like, what the numbers cards look like. You know, really show off that deck, even if it's another 3 or 4 images. Consider who's going to be printing and mentioning printing and fulfillment information. In addition to that, the one big thing that stands out to me as a whole on this campaign, which makes it a needs help, shipping after the fact. One of my least favorite aspects of a campaign, because you go in here and you take a look and it's like, all right, cool, $17 for the Octopus playing cards, but now I got to go in here and, oh, look, I add another $10 and it's now a $26 deck. While this thing is featuring foil on it, holographic foil, and $26 isn't a terrible price point for that, if you don't read this little blurb down at the bottom, which isn't drawing much of your attention to it, you're all of a sudden getting to get an additional $10 charge after the fact to get your deck, and that's a shame. I think transparency on Kickstarter is crucial, especially when it comes to shipping. Kickstarter has a built-in function for shipping. Why not use it? You know, it makes perfect sense to use it, especially because you can address all of these things in that process. So there's no reason not to use it.
Yeah. That's actually steers me away from campaigns. If I have to pay after shipping, I'm out.
It's tough. It really is a pain sometimes. And honestly, what ends up happening with it is you forget about it, you budget it, you get a little bit low on your budget because you bought some other stuff, and all of a sudden you're getting extra fees coming out of it. And, you know, $10 can make a difference sometimes on someone's monthly budget. So really important to make sure that you are being as forthright as possible with the actual cost of those decks are going to be. Steve, now comes the big question. What are you going to be backing this week?
Pharmacy on Main.
Nice.
Tale of King Arthur.
Nice.
And I think that's it.
No luxury Knox for you?
Well, yeah, that's a given, though.
Still gotta say it, man. Not everyone knows you love Knox.
Luxury Knox for sure.
Dude, I think I'm in the same boat. Honestly, I think I'm in the same boat with those 3. And honestly, I wish that art deck just had more information, because that thing is gorgeous, man. I would back that if it had the information necessary.
I think the artwork's cool. I'd like to see a little bit more of that dope artwork carried into the court cards, because it looked like the court cards were a little bit standard-ish, you know, but I'd like to see that artwork really throughout the deck. And yeah, I mean, I think it's bomb. I love the artwork for it.
Yeah.
But not until it's finished.
And that's the thing. It's very hard to finish a deck if you keep relaunching or keep launching new decks. So always make sure to actually find out what the feedback is on why a deck didn't succeed and bring it back to the drawing board, because just because it failed one time doesn't mean it doesn't have potential to succeed the next time. So something to keep in mind with that, dude. I think I'm in the same boat with you, though. I like those 3. I like the art deck. I just can't get on board with it at this point in time, but nice decks out there, man. Some really nice decks out there.
October's a big month.
It really is. I think the next couple weeks are going to hurt a lot of people's wallets. So if you're prepping for Christmas, yeah, dude, if you're prepping for Christmas already, you're going to be sadly disappointed when you got to pick up an extra 10 decks in the next 2 weeks. But As always, we love to hear what everyone's going to be backing, so while you're at it, make sure to drop a comment down below. Let us know what decks you're excited about backing this week, and while you're at it, you might as well give the video a like and a quick subscribe to the channel as well. And let's take a quick word from our sponsor before we jump into this week's fun campaigns. Let's see just how wild the animal kingdom can get. Follow Curio Playing Cards on Instagram for more details. So Steve, you ready for this week's first fun campaign?
I am ready.
Dude,
it's gonna be a fun
Dude,
one.
we got some good campaigns this week. We have some really exciting stuff out there. Obviously, we always like taking a look at what's on Kickstarter other than playing cards. Some weeks there's some really great stuff out there. So let's dive into this week's first fun campaign.
I'm excited to see what you picked.
Dude, first up for my fun campaign this week, I picked the Groove wallet. So I will say off the bat, I am not a modern wallet kind of person. I'm more of a money clip kind of person, or a little like leather card and money clip kind of person. I really like to keep it simple and minimalist, and this actually fits that criteria for me. I was really impressed with the look of this and the ease of it. It looks nice and clean. You can hold up to 6 cards in it. It has a little money clip on the back of it. It has everything you need without being overly bulky, and I think in this day and age where you're not carrying a wallet that's the size of, you know, your thumb in your back pocket, you want something that's going to be sleek and minimal in your front pocket there. So if you're wearing a suit pants with, you know, a pair of suit pants, which always seem to show things more so because the material's thinner, something like this doesn't stand out as much. You could even put it inside the suit jacket, or if you're wearing a pair of jeans, this actually leaves a fun little outline on the outside of your jeans as you wear them over time. And I know you...
Fun little outline.
Yeah, dude, that's how you get that character into jeans. I feel like people who wear...
I hate it. I hate it.
Will you buy new jeans every year?
No, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. I just don't like that wallet look.
Yeah.
But you know, to each their own.
I mean, that's the whole purpose of jeans, denim wears, and that's what's the fun part about it. But that being said, here you go, Granddad's wallet versus Groove wallet. I love the marketing aspect of this. I think they did a really good job putting together this campaign, touching on a lot of the interesting aspects of dilemmas that people face with wallets in this day and age. This by no means, I think, is a, you know, revolutionary concept of a card holder with a money clip on it, but I think the way they presented it and how they built it out is really fun and simple and clean. And honestly, at 50 bucks, like for a metal wallet, that's not bad.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
There you go. Some interesting names for the tiers for sure. I honestly like, it's interesting for me, and I always love this aspect of it. I love with non-playing card campaigns when they go into these whole concept aspects where they show, hey, here's our concepts, here's how we developed this, here's where it started and how it got to where it ended. We very rarely see progressive artwork in a campaign unless you belong to someone's Patreon, and then you can see, you know, initial sketches and how it develops. I wish more playing card campaigns would actually include that in the campaign itself to show, like, this was a work of love. This is where it started. These were the line sketches. This is where it ended up, you know? I think a lot of...
And
yeah.
I'll be honest. I wish they made that kind of graphite and orange together. Those two colors together just look dope. It kind of gives some character to your wallet rather than just, you know, black and steel or,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a future one that they can go for there. A nice little color variation on it. I think this one goes really nice in a minimalist way. It's simple and clean, you know?
Yeah, and you can use it for, you know, hanging out or dress up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and I don't think it looks awkward to, like, pull it out. The interesting one, like, I always love when they do, like, the accessories on these, and it's like, oh, get yourself a ring or a watch band. Not even a watch band or a belt. And I'm like, all right, I guess these are all, like, getting yourself ready for the day accessories, but, like, I never was like, oh, man, let me get this world's best ring. Interesting. I'd be curious to see how many they sell. I wonder how many people, though, wear rings just to wear rings, you know?
That doesn't look like a ring, though. It kind of looks like a gasket or something.
I think it's probably a render. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting...
How much does this thing go for?
64 bucks shipped.
Nice, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
it really isn't bad considering a nice, like a good quality leather wallet can easily run you 100 bucks. So if you're looking for something a little more modern and a little more sleek, it's a good way to go. And for another fun campaign this week, we have the OpenCV AI kit. This one just intrigued me, man. I wish I was so technically inclined as to be able to build things using AI and all that fun stuff. But the idea behind this is it's a simple open source camera system that you can use for basically like spatial awareness and spatial kind of processing. Spatial AI, there you go. So I like the concept of this because it's not necessarily, it's a final product, but it's not necessarily the final product. It's meant for people who are looking to build on the platform. And that whole concept is really cool because this actually makes them more of a supplier for potential end products than it does a consumer project itself. You know, you may want to use something for this at home, but at the same time too, they talk about, you know, putting it somewhere in here. They talk about putting it on the handlebars on a bicycle that you could embed in a light for your bike. And so you could potentially have like a smart light that would put light in certain areas when it detects motion or something like that at night, you know? All of these different ideas that I think we're actually starting to see in the motor vehicle space can now come to other forms of transportation because it's small.
Yeah. There's so many cool things coming out, that's for
Dude,
sure.
And again, like a lot of this stuff is beyond my hobbyist level diving into the world of this stuff, but the idea behind making it accessible is amazing. The other thing that stood out to me and gave me a good chuckle was instead of early bird, they have the tardy bird. So, so if you missed all the early birds and you're late to the game, you still got a chance to get it for a $5 discount, which I think is a steal. Dude, I mean, look at like this cool stuff like 3D manipulation and control, gaze estimation. The whole concept behind this is like next level from where I'm thinking it, but I'm sure there are so many people out there who have wanted to do stuff like this, but haven't had the means to pick up the apparatus for this. You know, it's probably initially was very expensive in the market, and now for 84 bucks, you can get something that allows you to go next level with your, whether it's hobby or project development.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, up a little bit more, there's a kind of a recognition clip of the guy dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Like right there. That reminds me of like those ghost shows.
Dude.
When they show them.
That's funny.
So funny when I see those, but that's cool.
There you go.
Maybe Mock would like this.
There you go, though. If you're out there trying to catch some ghosts in your house, you could maybe set this thing up and use it for some spatial AI. It's really interesting to see how this all goes together, and like it excites me to see that we're making things like this so accessible, because this is just going to keep driving technological advancement in the world.
Oak D Lite.
There you go.
Cool stuff.
Dude, absolutely love it. Again, beyond me, but definitely makes... It's an interesting, like, hobbyist adventure into the world of AI. Well,
yeah.
Dude,
no, hey, if you're looking for a project...
7,000 backers, $850,000. Like, there are a lot of people out there who are really interested in this. Blows my mind. I think that's awesome. It's exciting to see. And I hope some of those creators who back this end up taking it and turning it into a subsequent Kickstarter campaign, because that would just be dope.
Yeah. I'm sure someone's going to create something really cool with it.
Dude, no doubt about it. And for Steve's first fun campaign this week, we have the Japanese samurai sword scissors made in Japan stationery. I feel like we went so high tech talking about, you know, the future of technology in the world, and now we're like, yeah, I got some artsy scissors here.
Dude, these are so dope. They're nothing great, but they're so fun. You know, growing up, I've always loved ninjas. I've loved martial arts, and just having a samurai scissors. I mean, just the word samurai scissors sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
You know,
I know you're backing this one for sure.
I mean, I probably will just to have it, you know, but, you know, Leslie might stab me with it.
Oh my gosh, man. Look at that. Famous edge of blades. Cuts paper like nobody's business right there. Dude, this thing is funny as could be.
Yeah, it's not bad either. I think it's like 28 bucks.
Let's see here. 49 shipped.
Oh, well.
That shipping kills you. And this is why even outside of the playing card world, fulfillment partners are your best friend. Anyone who can help bring your shipping price down, go for it, because it makes life so much easier. This is so dope, though.
It's dope, but you know what? I'm not paying 50 bucks for a pair of scissors.
No, gosh, no. I mean, this thing could last you a lifetime, but at the same time, you want to be explaining to your kids why you got purple scissors from Japan? Like,
I mean, purple's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
it looks good, yeah, but this is like such a knick-knacky pair of scissors.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, dude.
I mean, the blade's probably gonna work forever.
Yeah.
Who knows about the actual apparatus, you know?
It looks really well constructed. I love the little display.
Comes in a little box. Dude, it's so good.
This is so well thought out. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
I dig it.
Yeah, dude.
A fun one, right?
Definitely a fun one. For anyone who's out there looking for a good Christmas present, this is definitely a fun Christmas present for your favorite martial arts enthusiast out there. So
you probably won't get it by Christmas, but next year maybe.
Maybe if you're lucky. But yeah, do they have a timeline on it? Let's see.
Look to the right. It says March 2022.
So you put a picture in the box, and when they get it...
That's never as fun.
And when they get it, though, they can cut out the picture with their scissors. Oh my god. I love it, man. Good luck to the Japanese samurai sword scissors made in Japan stationery.
So fun.
And for another fun campaign this week from Steve, we have the Hoodie-X by Graphene-X, pushing the limits of impossible.
Dude, I'm a hoodie guy. You know that.
I'm a hoodie guy too, but they've intrigued me. What is so amazing about this hoodie?
So it's supposedly, okay, the way it's built allows you to withstand cold, help you in the heat, you know, in the rain. It kind of goes through all kind of those elements.
All right.
You know, it's definitely more of a jacket, I think, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge
I hate zip-up hoodie.
person.
I hate zip-up hoodies.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's a jacket. You got to zip up a jacket, you know? So it looks like more of kind of rain-wicking material, you know, to obviously withstand that element. It has to be some type of material that wicks rain. But, you know, I like the way the hood fits. It's not super baggy, and kind of most hoods kind of have so much space right here, you know, in the jowl area.
Dude, I like that. I don't like a super tight-fitted hoodie. Feels too constricting,
I don't either, but I don't want the hood to fall off if it's windy.
See, to me, I wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't call this a hoodie. This is a jacket. Like,
it's a jacket, 100%.
There's nothing about the material that says hoodie. And listen, I think this is dope. I like the fact that it's meant to be a lightweight protective layer that helps keep you really warm. But like, call it a jacket. It's all right to call it a jacket.
100%. It's definitely something that you would see from Momit or, you know, someone like North Face.
Those strings to pull the hood tighter are fat.
Yeah, dude, it's very well put together. You know, it's pricey though, I'm not gonna lie.
Jeez, I saw the Hong Kong dollars there and I didn't realize it was in Hong Kong dollars. I was like, Steve, you just put a $1,300 jacket on here. What are you, crazy? Still pretty.
No, I would never do that.
Super early bird for 174. I mean, again, like, that's the thing.
That's going price for that type of jacket.
But what I'm saying is, like, for a hoodie, for me, I balk at spending $80 at a hoodie. So, like, if you're gonna call it a hoodie, it's gotta be in that hoodie price range.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a jacket. Yeah. Anybody who looks at it, and you know, it's definitely a jacket, 100%.
Feel deceived. I was really excited for a futuristic
it's the
hoodie.
Hoodie-X though. It's the next level hoodie.
Okay.
AKA jacket.
Yeah, they already got one of those.
If you look at her, you know what? The hoodie might be, actually, is it the inside? Because hers looks different. Is that the inside of the jacket? Now that I see it?
Let's see here. I think it's reversible.
Oh, right. So that's the hoodie side?
Yeah, but like, it's just the inside of the jacket.
Which can't be comfortable.
It's a reversible jacket.
Yeah, it can't be comfortable. I mean, it looks comfortable on the inside.
Okay, so it's fleece on the inside. So when you flip it, it turns into a fleece layer outside.
But that inside after that, I just couldn't. I wouldn't be I'm not a reversible type guy.
No.
But it's dope either way.
I mean, listen, I love the premise of it. Honestly, I would 100% back this thing if I was in the market for a jacket and they called it a jacket.
You guys call it a jacket.
Yeah, just be honest with what it is, because Hoodie-X, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's dope though.
I guess it makes for a better name, Hoodie-X by Graphene-X instead of Jacket by Graphene-X.
It could have been a Jackset. Jackset by Graphene-X.
Oh my god, Jacket-X. That's what they should have done. I don't know why they just didn't call it Jacket-X. Like, I will firmly...
That sounds cooler than Hoodie-X.
I will firmly admit that there can be zip-up hoodies. Zip-up hoodies are fine. You know, we're not trying to debate what the definition of a hoodie is here. But, like, this is definitely a jacket. Yeah. And I'm okay with it. It's still a fun campaign, dude. The whole premise of it is really well put together. My biggest gripe is that they mislabeled it.
Well, I look at it this way. Anybody from Hong Kong, comment below and let us know. Do you call jackets with hoodies in Hong Kong?
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
And if
it
that's
might
the
be.
case,
So I'd
yeah.
like to know. Drop it in the comments below.
And at the end of the day, dude, we're not in the 707 majority here who's down with this jacket slash hoodie. And I dig it, but like, they were not as bothered, obviously, as us by the idea that it is not in fact a hoodie, but it's a jacket.
They looked beyond the name.
The semantics of what it's called.
Yeah, they looked at like actually wanting it.
Dude, listen, I think it's dope looking. It really is interesting. So good on Graphene-X for coming out with this. Good luck to them on it. I think it's a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
Steve, this was a crazy week, man. Crazy week. Turned out better than I thought it was gonna. We saw some great campaigns. We saw some really fun ones. Those samurai scissors. Dude, that shipping kills me on it. I would have known what to get you for Christmas if I would have known what to get you for Hanukkah if it wasn't for that $20 shipping. But
come on, bro, I'm not worth $50.
I mean, you are worth $50, but I'd rather spend $50 on something and $5 on shipping than $20 on something and $20 on shipping. So,
well, let's be honest. That's probably the coolest thing. It would have been cooler if it was a Lite as well.
Dude, the Lite would no. I just imagine like laser guided scissors so you can draw in a straight line.
It would have been perfect. How dope is that? You have the scissors. Are you trying to tell me that you cut straight when you
No, but at a very young age.
How dope would that be? Laser guided scissors.
I'll be honest with you right now, the laser's gonna move with the scissors, so you're still gonna have a crooked line, you're just gonna have a straight laser.
Yeah, but you can line it up. You would line it up and be able to cut with it.
Line it up with behind you. You'd have to have it going both directions. But the logistics of scissor lasers is not the idea behind this show. So while we're at it here, thank you so much everyone for tuning into this week's What's on Kickstarter. Drop a comment down below. Let us know what you're planning on backing, how you feel about that $20 shipping on these samurai scissors, and everything else that really caught your eye on Kickstarter this week. We always love to hear your feedback. And while you're at it, make sure to like the video, share it with a friend, or if you know the creators on this campaign, share it with them as well, and we will see you next week.
Peace.